It always has to be recorded. If it's not recorded, did it really happen?
Yes.
Because we're going to be in big fucking trouble. We have like these 3 meetings we have like in 15 minutes. We cannot even see the workshop.
No. If it's in C,
Could
did
I
file even exist?
Could I ask anyone else to record just in case if I fuck this up? Please?
What are you using to record with?
I'm using Shadowplay.
I suggest using OBS instead.
I'm scared of OBS. I'm scared of software in general, actually.
Understandable
Well-
when you work with it.
Yeah, I know, like, I know it's funny or ironic or whatever.
It's not an ironic. Every program is scared of software.
I'll OBS one of my monitors. Give me a second to set it up then.
Thank you. I will pay you 15 gold ingots.
On God.
For free.
On mod.
Okay. Try to say something?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, okay. My mixer is picking you up. Okay, I'm going to start the recording.
Thank you. I guess let's get started then. This presentation is gonna be a bit more on the surface because I know a lot of you don't have any experience with modding in Winter Story, so I figured like let's go from the top and try to, you know, get you acquainted with the concepts, and perhaps let's check out a few mods later on or how to make one. So what we're gonna talk about is kind of the tip of the iceberg here, and like I've been making this talk like all of yesterday evening and all of today evening, so it's like, and I feel I haven't like touched upon like the things I want to actually touch upon, so it's gonna be basic, so to say. So first, about me, I am a software developer. I write C#, TypeScript, and React at my workplace, and been playing this game for 2.5 years and started modding about 1.5 years ago. And then I ran a VS server like for 8 months last year, which was like a huge learning experience for me, because when shit is breaking in your server, you have to fix it yourself. So that's where I got most of my modding experience. And on Chronicles of Time, I've been here since February, and I fear I'm gonna be here until the end. I couldn't resist putting this Rijkaard meme here because I found it while searching for nice pictures to put on this slideshow.
Sorry, you're banned.
Oh shit. All right,
sorry.
Talk's over. Thank you for coming, and see you in the next
free.
server.
I'm joking. Okay, come on. Continue. I'm sorry.
All right. And if you like have any questions during this, then just ask away. Let's try to get them answered right away. So I made some mods. Like just yesterday, I released like my 35th mod, and now I own like 1% of the public mods on the ModDB. It lists like 3,600 mods there and 35, you know, like almost. First of all, I wanted to point out to you that there are a lot of tutorials on the wiki itself. Like this game has like, I feel like a pretty good like modding community, and as a result, like people have put in time and effort to make like modding tutorials straight on the wiki, because usually how I like find like tutorials how to mod games is I go on YouTube and find some channels and they will explain to me like how to make mods maybe. But on Vintage Story, I feel like it's a bit the other way around, that the like base game resources are so good, partly because Vintage Story is like somewhat open source. So the creators of the game want us to like see how they have written stuff, like how they have made stuff, and to copy it. So this game is built up from the ground up to be modded, which is also evident that the 3 base mods of the game survival and creative, are like mods themselves. Let's talk about types of mods first. There are content mods. So if you want to add like a new OR type or like new block type, and you don't want any custom logic because like this logic already exists. For example, like with ORs, you just like kind of need a OR block, you need a texture for it, and you need like to say what it drops, right? The logic is already there. You just need to like, like compose a like description of an item or block you want. And examples of these are the Fauna of the Stone Age series, Better Ruins, and Terra Preti, the World Generation mod. But recently, Terra Preti has added Coastline Generation, which is a code thingy, which removes it from the list of content mods and brings it into the realm of code mods. Code mods are specifically mods that add functionality. They have some code attached to them, and they also have content attached to them. Examples are Primitive Survival, Crossbows, X Skills, from my mods, Envelopes mod, which has like, from content, it has like the envelopes themselves, the stamps, and from logic, it has the, like the closing logic and the stamping logic and the opening logic, for example, and maybe placing on ground logic. And there are also team mods. Team mods are specific mods for creating texture packs. Haven't seen too many of texture packs around yet. And I feel that's because of this mod type is pretty new. So if you download a mod, then you get a zip of it. If you maybe seen your ModSpy server folder, it contains a lot of zips, which are exactly the mods that the server has prompted you to download. So if you join Chronicles of Time, these are downloaded, and in these are like there's a specific or special like kind of layout for this. There's the assets folder, which contains all of the content. There's the modinfo, which is like the metadata. And then there's the code part, like the DLLs, the PDB files. PDB files are basically like files to make DLLs more understandable for humans. So it's like, like useful if you want to look into DLLs. And there's also some other stuff that is kind of irrelevant. And inside the assets folder, you also have like a really specific structure, and the game expects your mod to have, or like the content you create must be in one of these folders. There are some additional folders I did not list here, but for example, if you're creating new items, you need to add the definition under the item types folder, otherwise the game won't like recognize them. So this is something to keep in mind. And also, like if you have like models, put them under shapes, so you can easily refer to them from the block types or item types. And yeah. Next, let's look at what is inside the modinfo.json file we were talking about earlier. This file is pretty important. And I must say it's pretty easy to get this wrong, like put something wrong in here and then wonder why your mod isn't loading or why it's loading funnily, or like, yeah, there's a ton of problems that can be attributed to having a wrong modinfo.json. And this example is from my own mod envelopes, and it defines a type, which is a code mod here. Can be also a content or a theme mod. Then there's the mod ID, which is envelopes, and it must contain only lowercase letters and numbers. And sometimes people try to add dashes or like uppercase letters or stuff, and it could kind of work because the game is like pretty lax in like validating this information. But once your mod gets on the ModDB and others like kind of start to like depend on your mod, they will have a ton of problems because this mod ID is formatted wrong. So please try only to have letters and numbers here. Thanks. Next up is the name. Name is kind of free text. You can have spaces here, you can have letters here, some funny characters, whatever you want. Then there's the list of authors, the contributors, which is used for like if you have like some auxiliary contributors like this translator I had. And the description of the mod. I think the description of the mod has some length limitations, but although into here you can like write however like long description you want, but on the ModDB there is like a limit to this description field. And then there's the version. Version is kind of just keep it going higher and it will be fine. That's the rule. And then there's the dependencies object. So what the dependencies does is it makes these mods that are referred in the dependencies load first before this mod loads. So if the game starts up, it starts loading all the mods in the mods folder, right? And then it will try to figure out which mods need to be loaded first because maybe they depend on some of the logic this mod provides. So for example, if I made like some mod to add some custom swords to Combat Overhaul, I will probably add a dependency on Combat Overhaul because I want the logic that is in Combat Overhaul to be loaded first before my sword mod. So this is a good way to kind of, show these relationships. And you could also specify a version. So I could put like game 1.20.12, and this means that people with game 1.20.13 wouldn't be able to load this mod. It will just say in the mod manager on the main menu that cannot load mod, missing dependency or something like that. Any questions so far?
Are underscores available for the mod ID?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
And by must be unique, does that mean in the entire mod page it must be unique, or is it just...
I mean, you can name your mod primitive survival and it will work on your computer. But I think like once you start uploading it to ModDB, they will validate that it doesn't exist already. And also like when you have like multiple mods with the same mod ID, then only one of them will load. And usually it's the highest numbered versioned mod that will be loaded. So it's a good idea to try to figure out something like unique. Maybe like put your name in front, like Simer's envelopes or whatever, if there are multiple envelopes mods. For example, like crossbows is Maltese crossbows is the mod ID. All right, so let's get into modding finally. First, the setup. I recommend that you download an IDE, which is like it's the shorthand is for Integrated Development Environment, and it's like basically text editor specifically made for code editing. They have like some tons of useful tools like automatic formatting. Maybe they color the text nicely. I suggest if you start modding to like download one of these three programs and not use Notepad that is packaged with Windows or whatever else is packaged with Windows. I use JetBrains Rider myself. That is, I feel like that is like the best tool for my workflow. But some people like Visual Studio Code because it's lightweight and it's pretty powerful for its lightweightness. And also like it's good for editing other like, files too, not just Vintage Story mod files. And then there's the Visual Studio, which is like an older program. It gets new releases every year, but still it's stuck in the year 2010s. And also enable the developer mode in the settings. This is useful so you could see the item codes in the game. So if you open the handbook and you have this extended debug info enabled, you can see like what is the code of the item and some other information that is like really useful when you're like developing mods. Next up is the ModMaker 3000. The name of the program is so cool that I had to mention it here as well. So the ModMaker 3000 is a content mod making tool. And everyone has it who has like an installation of Vintage Story. So it's pretty nice. And it's basically used for extracting your changes to your game to a mod. And it does it so automatically for you, so you don't have to worry. And to kind of illustrate my point, let's make a mod using ModMaker 3000. And during this, I will try to explain like various things and layouts and stuff that is relevant to the base game, like folder structures, I guess. So wait, first let's go to the Explorer. So in the what's it called? App data, you have this roaming Vintage Story, which is like the kind of the base game folder. Like this contains all of the base like mod DLLs, like the base game code basically. And you also have like some base mods like creative mod. They should probably make this bigger, right? And you also have this cool assets folder. And as you remember, the assets folder is a special folder for content. And like the mods themselves, the base game is also using the same format for the content. And in here you have like different folders, and inside this you have the same layout that we talked about earlier, like some of them at least, like block types, dialog, entities, item types, and so on. And finally, you will reach some like JSON files, which are like the definitions themselves then. I won't go into like what is JSON and how to like write it in this talk, because I feel it's something you can like learn on your own. But basically, like JSON is a format that that is easily understandable by the computer and like reduces kind of the typos that happen. And now if we wait, this is the JetBrains Rider editor I was talking about earlier. In here, I have opened the assets folder, like all of this folder you just saw. And I have some various stuff I was looking up here. But we will now make a mod that will double the stack size of bandages. So what do we need to do is to find the item definition for the bandage itself, which I can conveniently like find using the search. And wait, I should probably make this bigger. And inside the item definition JSON, we have like item definition. This is like all the parts that the game expects an item to have, and the game will read these like different like attributes, as they're called, and construct the item when the game is launched. And in here we have some various things like what's its class? Class is like the logic that runs the bandage logic. And then we also have the shape, which is like the model. Then the textures. Textures are like something that is used by the shape to kind of texture the item. Then we have some attributes. Attributes are free form. So you could add like 1, 2, 3, whatever, right? You could add whatever here, JSON compliant, of course. And you can then like reference these same fields inside your game code. So if you wanted to have like some custom logic in addition to like some bandage logic, you could like put it here and then use these fields. But for like base game items, doing it this way is not recommended because the base game items are kind of finished, I would say. Then here we have transitionable props by type, and transitionable props defines like how the item is transitioned when the timer expires. So in this example, it's gonna dry in an average of 1 hour, and it's gonna transition into a clean bandage with a ratio of 1, so 1 to 1. And here we have this max stack size. So if we change it to 64, the base game files will now read this and see it as 64. And I can show you this. First, wait. Let's open up a world. So now if we go to creative mode and find the bandages, we can see that they're indeed stacking to 64 now. And like this is completely fine doing it this way. Like if you have your local like server, like single player world, and you want to change something, for example, every gold ore block should drop like 50 gold nuggets or whatever, you can do it. And like it's a completely valid way of like making small modifications to your experience of playing. But the problem begins when you want to like share this modification with other players, because when other players will join your server, they won't get these changes for themselves because they don't have like a mod which tells them that the stack size has been changed. So we need to kind of package this change into a mod, and then we can distribute the mod to everyone who's gonna join our server. And this is where the mod maker 3000 comes in. I see that Viviana has asked something. This looks just like Visual Studio Code. What's the benefit of this one over VSC? Well, if you just want to edit files like this, then I don't think it's worth to change, like make the jump. But as soon as you want to write some code, I feel like JetBrains Range Rider is a lot more feature complete in this regard than Visual Studio Code. So you will have an easier time writing code mods. Okay, next up, let's try this mod maker out. So in the base game folder, we have this modmaker.exe, and you can see it prompts us to select from 5 options. 1 and 3 is what you want to use. So first we will use the first option, create mod from changed vanilla assets. Then you have to like confirm that it's this game version. And then if you want to check the shapes folder or not. So the game has a ton of models included, and most of the times your changes are not to the models themselves, so you can safely ignore them, which is what we're gonna do here. And as you can see, it found the bandage.json has changed, and then you can enter a name for your mod, let's say like bandage64. And the mod ID will be the same. This is me. And yep, it has now created a zip file with our changes. And that is it. And then we can run it again and say number 3, restore vanilla assets and revert our changes, because you kind of don't want to like keep these changes around once you have made them into a mod, because your game could start acting funnily and you wouldn't know like what's wrong. So now if we go to this mods folder, you can see that this bandage64 mod has appeared automatically. And inside it are like modinfo.json and assets. So you can see it has some mod info defined, kind of like we inserted into there. And it has some like irrelevant fields as well. Interestingly, the type here is like 1, which is like the value from the enum. It's like backing. Usually it would be like content here, but whatever. And also it has some assets inside of it, bandage64, patches, and it has a patch. So what this is a JSON patch. And JSON patching is a way of like editing game files and other mod files, basically like other content from other mods which are not yours, via like this small definition of like, you know, editing. And here we kind of basically say that we want to replace the max stack size value in this file, this game item types bandage.json, which is like then if we go back to the asset folder, then it's game item types. Nope. Survival item types bandage. So it's this file. It's like literally from the file system, whatever the path is there is the path that goes there. And why this is game, not survival, as we noticed, this is like the survival folder, but this is the game, is because like all of these 3 base modes, the creative mode, the game mode, and the survival mode are packaged together into one like big mod. So you could have an easier time referring to this like base game package. And it also says that the side is server, so this means that this patch only needs to be applied on the server side, not the client side, because the max stack size is only relevant for the servers. And that is because the client should get these through a mod. And since we reset our assets folder, we now shouldn't have these changes, but we have this bandage 64 mod, and it should still provide us the functionality of having 64 bandages per inventory slot, not 32. And as you can see, we still have these nice 64 stack of bandages, which is nice. Vermilion asks here, say I wanted to override another mod, change the stack size of your envelopes from your envelope mod. I do something like envelopes, item types, envelope JSON for the path using the mod IDs for the reference. Yep, that's fully correct. The first part of the first part of this path is the mod ID itself, and the game refers to this as the domain. So you gotta tell what domain this kind of item should exist in, and the game will look up, okay, inside the game mod, we must have something at this path. And yeah, for my mod envelopes, probably that's the correct path. I do not know how the envelopes mod, like what's the paths of my top of my head. And that is the Mod Maker 3000. Any questions?
So if you're making a mod that also includes like a shape, so a 3D model, will the mod maker also consolidate that together with the rest in the zip file?
Yep, it should. But you have to.
Okay, so really it just makes everything automatically.
Yes, but you have to tell it that you want to kind of like what's the word? Check the shapes
Look
folder.
at shaped as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
But I'm like wondering like how would it work, because as you see, it generates JSON patches, and JSON patches kind of like patch the original file. So, and if we like look at one shape file, then we can see that kind of it has like an elements array, which is like the rectangles the model consists of, and then there's like children, and like every children has a face, and like children has children, and children has children, and children has children, and so on and so on. So I'm wondering if this mod maker would like kind of try to join these together, like they see like, okay, this has changed, let's remove this, add our own stuff, you know, like I haven't tried that out. Super mech.
I think that goes beyond my scope anyway, but thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
If we wanted to add something new, like a new item, not modify an existing one, is that also categorized as in content mod and created a similar way, or is that a different process?
That is a content mod, and we'll be getting into that next.
Cool, thanks.
Excellent question, actually. But first, I wanted to kind of show what you would do with this mod that you just created. So we have these mods. So if you wanted to share it with your friends, for example, you go, you make a server and you want your friends to join, and you want your friends to also have this 64 bandage mod because they cannot join without having this mod, right? Then you would go to Winterstory ModDB, make an account here, and then just press submit the mod. Kind of fill this out like bandage 64 summary text, whatever, and then you would hit the save button, and then you would go to add release. To note that you have to like go back one page from the edit page, because I don't know why they have this UX, but they have it like this. So yep. And then you would just go open this, pull this bandage in, drop it here. Never mind this. We are probably doing this illegally, so it doesn't recognize it, whatever. And then you choose what versions is it compatible with. It's usually safe to select the version you're on, but maybe a few versions back. If you know, like content mods usually like keep on working like till the end of time. Content mods are built in a way that the developers fully support everything that's written in them. And so they don't have any reason to like break your mods when a new version releases. But with code mods, since you write your own code, it depends how like deep you kind of scrape with the your mod. And then you would press save and back. And the last thing you would have to do is edit your mod once more and then set it to publish. And once you hit save, it will show this under this all mods page and also under your profile. For now, let's get rid of this mod. Unless someone wants it. Delete. You can make it yourself. All right, let's continue. Next up is the VS Model Creator.
Oh God.
I hate this software.
Oh no.
Viviana also hates this software because I showed her one day how to work this program, and
It's bad.
she was depressed by then. So this should tell you what this program is. So the Winterstory devs made a custom model editor for their game, because the Winterstory model format is a custom format they have like defined, and I think they felt it was the easiest to just make a new model editor instead of trying to like have a Blender plugin for it or whatever plugin, right? And this program supports editing models, texturing, and also animation. So it's kind of all in one program. And the thing with Winterstory is that everything is a rectangle. You cannot have triangles. Like the only way you could have a triangle is if you overlay the rectangles in a way that they look like a triangle. But and as a result, making cylinders and circles and stuff is also like really, really complicated. And this is actually something that the Winterstory developers want. They want like their game to have like an art direction. They want their game to have like specific like look, and they have achieved it by like making everything a rectangle. As you can see from this fruit press model, everything's a rectangle, and it looks like so Winterstory like you instantly recognize that this is Winterstory, you know. And I think it's nice, and you should embrace it if you're gonna make your own models. And they are making a Winterstory model creator 2 actually. I haven't tried it out, but I hope it's gonna be a lot better. Winter, did you have a question?
No, I was just happy that they're making a second one that's hopefully better than this one.
Have you tried it?
I was the model creator for RP Voice Chat, so
Oh
yes, I have
yeah,
tried it,
right. Yeah, I know.
and
Okay,
I
now.
absolutely fucking hate it.
It's certainly a program. So now let's try to use our knowledge to make a simple content mod from scratch. First, let's try to model a custom sling, and then let's create the files, and then let's, I'll show you some other cool stuff you can use to make your modding quicker. So content mods, I never usually make content mods, so this is gonna be manual as hell. So we're gonna make a new folder inside mods, which is my sling. And this will be the base of our mods. In Winter Story, mods don't have to be zipped up to be picked up by the game. You could just have files and folders just sitting here, and the game will completely understand it. No need to zip your files up. This speeds development time up and makes it generally easier to kind of move these things around. So this my sling mod, we're gonna open it inside Rider. Just so we could have everything in one place. There's yeah. So what do we need? We need a modinfo.json. This is the base of all the mods. And how do you get the modinfo.json? You steal it. Although this is not the best place to steal things from. Let's maybe try to find something else. Oh, I don't have anything else. Wait, we have something else. Where is this? Ta-da! So this is a content mod. This is called my sling. Mod name is my sling. There are no contributors. Description is cool sling. Version 1.0.0 maybe, and depends on game. All right, so that is it for the mod info. Then we have we need an assets folder. And inside this assets folder, we need we first need to make a folder that is named after our mod ID, so my sling. Inside the assets, you have can have different can touch upon different mods. So the game requires you to have your mod as the topmost folder. And inside here, let's have shapes. And inside the shapes, let's add the mysling.json. And then let's fire up the VS model creator. So if I drag and drop it inside here, it will open it up. Wait. And it will kind of once we save, it will kind of write all of its what do you call them? Attributes into this file. So that is nice. With VS Model Creator, I recommend that you keep this shortcut save under your fingers at all times. Control save. This program is prone to freezing, and if it freezes, you will lose everything that has not been saved. No coming back from freezes. just like do something and Control S immediately, like all the time. The UI is pretty simple. You have like this is like supposed to be like a block, like 1 times 1 block as the like base, so you could like measure things out. We will create a cube, which will be the base of our sling. So as you can see, like if I hold the right mouse button, I can like kind of rotate around my viewpoint, and with the left mouse button, I can like kind of pan on the axis. And with the scroll wheel, I can zoom. And we will make this cube a bit longer, taller. And then we will create a new cube under it and try to get this into position. And it will have a bit of a rotation. Yes. And it will have another like arc rotated the other way around. Yeah. Yes, this looks like a sling almost. So now we saved it and we can close down the program. What's next? We need an item definition actually. So to do this, we have this item types folder that is magical, needs to have this name. And then we have this mysling.json, which is kinda, you can name it randomly. You don't have to follow any naming conventions or whatever. And how we will get this item definition is since a sling already exists in game, we will go to the base game files, find the sling. Is there a sling here? No. Sling. No, this is the item types. Yes, this is the sling definition. We will just steal it and plop it in here. And now it's only the case of kind of like editing this item definition to make it ours. So the thing we have to change is the code, because every item, block, entity, whatever needs to have like a unique code. If you try to name your item sling again, it will load the base game sling and then see that this is also called sling. And then it will tell you like, this can't be loaded. I already know of this item. Like, what are you doing, bro? And the class is the logic for the sling. And since we want the logic to stay the same for now, like the animations and other stuff that is related to slinging, we do not need to edit this. This can also stay the same, this one too. So shape we are going to actually edit. So this path here is based on the shapes folder. So you can imagine like there's like a shapes written in front, but the game knows it's a shape, so it doesn't do the shapes anymore. And since this shape is in our like own mods folder, we do not need to prefix this with like the mysling domain like identifier. Instead, we can just like call it like as it is, and we just need to reference the path, so it's like mysling. And we do not need to add JSON because all of like the game can understand fine that this is JSON. And there's also alternates, which is kind of like if you notice like a bow has, for example, drawing animations in the inventory hotbar slot, and this is what these are used for. But I do not wish to make like 3 different models for just like custom slings. So let's just delete them. And tool, this is like a tool type. There's like probably it gives some certain bonuses to slings, whatever. And there's also this creative inventory. So creative inventory allows you to define custom what's the word? Groupings for items, and in this case we will create a new grouping for our item, so when we open up the creative inventory it will be listed under our like group, making it easier to find it. There's also this aim animations, scary stuff, and yep, that is basically it. I think we can go inside the game and try it out. If we open up our creative inventory, we can see that there's a new tab named MindSling. This is like this because we do not have defined a localization for this or like kind of language placeholder for it yet. And in here we have this magical sling, which for some reason doesn't have an icon, but that is okay. We will take it and we will look at it in third person, and we can see that our nice sling is real. And we can also try the functionality out. Let's take a stone, granite stone, and then try to shoot it, and whoop, it works. Ta-da! We have our magical sling, which is kind of rotating around itself. Yeah. Anyway, now how would we fix this? Like this, apparently the item is not anywhere near the right hand, and also the item slot doesn't display this correctly. How this can be done is you go into the item definition for the sling, and you find this FP hand transform first person then, GUI which is the item slot, ground transform for the ground, and TP is the third person. And actually these days this FP is not used, so only TP is used for calculating both the first person and third person hand positions. And how I used to do it, like for any item I had, is like I would like see like, oh yeah, it's a bit off. Okay, let's try like 0.3. Let's close the game. Let's see what happens. Like okay, and then like one day I was like talking in the main Winter Story Discord in the mod development channel, and I said like, yeah, this is how I do it. Is there some easier way? And yeah, they kind of basically laughed at me there, saying that there's a lot easier way to do it. And the Winter Story developers provide this magical command .tfedit. So that's the transform editor. And this basically says that for these different things, like different like kind of ways of showing an item, you can have like different placements. And what we are interested is the main hand transform. And if we edit this, like you can see that the item moves. And yep, this is currently the best way I know in how to get the item into your hand properly. The other way of how you could also do it is to figure out how to do it in Winter Story Model Creator. So basically I think the kind of like the item transforms are out of place. As you saw, like the item we created was in the corner, not in the center. And probably by fixing that, you could like get it into the correct position from the start, or almost correct position. But this is how I work right now. And once I'm done, I press close and apply, and then I have a look, and then I run this command again, and then maybe I rotate some of these things a bit. I don't know, like trial and error. Maybe one day you will have something better. Like this kinda already. I don't know if it's a sling, but it's better than it used to be. And there's also this scale thingy. So if you have like a small item and you want it to be shown bigger in your hands, then you would increase the scale. And what this close and apply button does is it doesn't apply it permanently. It only applies it so you could like run around and like have a look what you've done. If you want to like make it permanent, you would copy this JSON here with this button, go to the MySling definition, find the correct kind of slot and replace this. And with the GUI transform, it's similar, but in here we have like kind of problem because we do not know like where the item is, so we're kind of like I don't know, stuck trying to find the item. It's like basically like there's a window here and like the item could be like somewhere here, but we have to figure out how to like make it appear here. And if you have like a proper model, oh wait, it started appearing. If you have like a proper model, then probably it like will become easier to have like correct looking things from the start, not like this shit I'm producing. But yeah, this is what I work with. Next up, we have this sling item, but as you see, this sling item doesn't have a proper name, and it currently has this MySling item sling name, which means that it has a placeholder. And to kind of name this item, like what's it supposed to be called, we use these language strings. So we create a lang folder, and inside this we create the en.json for English. And the game will kind of look through your language and try to figure out like which language folder is the correct one. Goodbye. And in here, it's a regular JSON object, so we need to define this item code, MySling item MySling. But since the damn, everyone's going. Since the this is our like in our domain, then we don't need to include the domain, but we can include the MySling kind of directly. And it's called MySling. And now, how you will see this change is you will close the game and reload the game, and it will reload the files, but there is a shortcut for it. So .dev reload lang is the shortcut for reloading language files. And after which we can see that our item has been renamed to MySling. And there's also like this dev reload shapes, useful if you're like have the model editor open and you want to like constantly make changes to the model and see it in game. And there's also like dev reload textures. So if you're like editing textures, then this is like a huge time saver. Like the less you close the game, the less you have to wait 30 seconds every time you load the game, or even more. But this shapes and textures reload is a bit lengthier process, and you can see that for some reason I lost my face. Why? And that concludes the content mod demo or tutorial. Any questions about it?
I hope I'm gonna definitely need to look back on this recording. It's a lot. I'm sure I'll have questions for you later if I try to do it myself.
Yeah, sure. Like ask away later. Like as I said in the beginning, it's like this is like the iceberg I'm trying to talk about here, and even the iceberg is a huge mountain, you know.
Is our what's the word I'm looking for? Are materials done through the asset creator as well?
You mean the materials themselves, not like how they are mapped on the items?
Yeah.
No.
Is it a different program?
There are various programs. Like you could do it in Photoshop. You could do it in Paint even.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was one specifically for like Vintage Story.
Oh, all right. No, there isn't. If that was a question. Was that a question?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Like my question was,
there is
there
not a specific program, at least as I know it. Like, but if you look at in the textures folder, you can see that like all of the textures are just like PNGs. Like, as long as you get these PNGs, you can refer them and like use them for your items.
Okay.
And I'm not too familiar with texturing myself, so when I need a texture, I usually like kind of program or art it, or like try to modify some already existing texture. For example, this envelope is actually from here, but it's kind of like edited. So you had a question?
Just I was just wondering because I think that, you know, in Blender you can use a script to like convert the model into a JSON. Would it still not work with Vintage Story?
Nope.
Because it's not rectangles?
So there's a script that makes it so you can work Blender models into JSON, and it converts nicely, I've heard. But you need to make every single thing inside Blender work exactly the same way as in VSMC. So
okay, never mind. That's too much work.
You need to work in squares the same way you work in squares in it, or else it'll be confused, and like there's some shapes and such that won't work. And then you also need to do something with bones. It's a longer process. I would personally just use VSMC.
Mm-hmm.
Or Vintage Story Model Creator, than just using the plugin or the script. But it is possible, and if you can get it to work, go you. Because I haven't.
It seems like too much work for something that's easier just done with the bed creator.
Yep. Vintage Story model format is pretty custom, which causes these issues. If it were like some standard format, I feel like it would be tons easier to like port over existing models from Minecraft or whatever game. And there is actually like a plugin for it. Like there's this Blockbench program, which is the modeling program for Minecraft. And there's this Vintage Story plugin, which allows Blockbench to Vintage Story export. But I hear that it's like not working properly in some cases, so your mileage may vary. Anyway, let's go close this rain down and move on. So now we're gonna get into the territory of code mods, which is a huge territory to cover, and I tried to do it all this evening, and I couldn't distill this information down how I would like to. And I've been creating mods for 1.5 years, but every time I make a new mod, I feel like there is some part of the modding thingy, like modding, that I learn, which is kind of good, but it's also like there's so much things to learn. You can't just like kind of keep on making mods. I mean, you can, but you cannot make what you want to make because you do not have the know-how yet. So I kind of wanted to give you a quick crash course on what are the basic concepts used in Winter Story modding. So when you maybe one day start reading the code for yourself, or you're kind of like someone tells you about it, then you can kind of know what's being talked about. So we have a block. Block is kind of what you can place in the game. Then an item. An item you cannot place in the game. It's only meant for like holding, like torches. But now you will like kind of say to me that, but torches can be placed. What are you talking about? That is because there is like a special piece of logic that tells how to like kind of place items onto ground, but this is not default for items. This is like a separate piece of behavior. And then there's collectibles, and a collectible is like a abstraction or like the base of the blocks and items. And since like in your inventory, for example, you can have both blocks and items, and you do not necessarily care if one or the other is in your inventory, then you can refer to them as collectibles in this case, and the game does it that way as well. And then there's entities, something that is alive is how I define it. And alive means like interacts with the world or can be interacted with. So for example, sailboat, it doesn't have a life, but it can be interacted with. And there's also like regular examples like wolf and seraph, which are about like alive, you know. Then there is block entity, which is like a block which has been given, you know, like sentience. So for example, bed. There's block entity is like a special kind of construct in a sense that all block entities are tied to blocks. Like the block is the physical object in the world, and the block entity is the logic for this block itself. So by these combinations, you can like kind of separate the logic and the physical representation of it. Then there is item stack. Item stack is anything that goes into a slot. Like it's an item, it's a block, it's a collectible, and it also has like a count. Like an item stack could be 0 items as well in some buggy cases, but usually it's like 1 or more, and or an empty slot is a slot without an item stack. And yeah, cauldron would be a block entity indeed. So you would have the cauldron block, which will define the shape and maybe some textures and other stuff. And then you would have the cauldron block entity, which would represent the logic of the cauldron. So you can kind of right click it, open it, see the interface, put things into it. So maybe add firewood, fire it, you know, like all of the logic would be in the cauldron's block entity. And entity behavior is kind of like block behaviors, but for entities. But I feel like block behaviors. Wait, did I block entity? Wait, what's the difference? Sorry. Anyway, so an entity behavior is a way to kind of like split up logic. So for example, in the case of the player, you have like a lot of systems that a player needs to have, like gravity, hunger system, body temperature, and like tons and tons of other stuff. And if this were in one like logic, like kind of file, then it will become like convoluted and it will be hard to maintain and extend. So what game developers have come with is to kind of have a behavior, like a list of behaviors that define an entity, like define an entity in a way that an entity is a list of behaviors, not that an entity is all of them crammed into one file. And this allows you to kind of keep the system separated via behaviors and just like write new behaviors if you want to something like kind of add something new that the entity doesn't have yet.
So it's kind of like making a class.
Yes,
Got it.
but it's a specific class.
Indeed.
And then we have the collectible behaviors, which is kind of like entity behaviors, but for collectibles. And what these behaviors do is like they kind of provide like a blueprint kind of different methods you can extend yourself in a class. I'm like not gonna go into how to program in this lecture, but I wanted to like show that, or like say that these behaviors come with convenience methods that you can hook into. Like for example, a block behavior has a like method called get drops, and you could extend it yourself to define what this block drops once it's like destroyed. And behaviors have like a lot of these like convenience things you can hook into, and that is what makes like the behavior so nice to work with. And then there is the block entity behaviors, which is a behavior of a block entity. So when we talked about the block entities before, then I told that the logic of a block is encapsulated there, and then we went into this cauldron example. And in the case of the cauldron example, we could have like block entity behaviors per kind of like cauldron behavior, or like cauldron, I don't know what, I don't have the word, but like you could split what a cauldron does into different behaviors. For example, you could have like firing behavior, so you can put like logs underneath the cauldron and light it. And then you could have like this taking behavior, so when you use like a crock on it, you get the some of the contents of it. And then you could have like the cooking interface in its own behavior. Like everything could be in its nice small like place. And it makes your like programs kind of less buggy, because you do not have to deal with so many things at once in your code, like one file. And finally, we have this attribute. So attribute is a piece of data about an object. They can be like related to items in world. So for example, you could have like a dirt block inside the creative inventory or the creative picker, right? And in that case, it is not yet an item stack. It is just like a display of an item, and it has its own like attributes that come from the item definition. But there's also like these stack attributes. So if you take one of those dirt blocks out, you will get a concrete item stack of it, and that item stack can have its own like attributes. For example, item stack could have like a temperature. So when you heat something up, its temperature gets increased slowly, and then you can kind of like in your logic say that, okay, if it's over 900, then please melt, you know. Logic like that can be done with the stack attributes. And yeah, there is the advanced concepts section that we have reached into. But maybe let's, I would like to make a code mod first. But the problem is that I tried to make one and it didn't quite work. So does anyone have any ideas what I could code really quickly? Like I'll make a mod on the spot.
Slings that throw 2 stones at once. Just stick with the sling theme.
All right, so let's extend the mod to throw two stones at once.
Or maybe different kinds of stones do different damage.
So how can we do this? All right, let's try to figure it out. So right now I have no clue how the sling works actually, how the stones are spawned, how the damage is calculated. So what I usually do if I want to like check what the base game code does, I go to this GitHub repository, which is like the developer's own GitHub repository, and I find the item I want to kind of extend with my mod. And then I just start reading the code. Like half of the code writing process or like modding process is just like browsing through like loads and loads of files and like trying to like figure out how can your like small modification fit in. And that's how you kind of learn about a ton of stuff by just reading. And in here we can see that an item sling is an item which has some word interactions like right click, and then it has third person use animation, which is null. Get next munition. What is this? Oh, this searches the player's inventory for the next stone to be thrown. And this onHeld interact start is one of the methods that you can also like use in the behavior classes when you define it. So you could tell like when this item starts to be interacted with. Interaction means then that right click is being held. There's also like this onHeld attack start, which is for the left click, and interact is right click. And how this goes is when the interaction begins, some logic is done. Then there is the onHeld interact step, which tells if the animation has finished, kind of, or like has the interaction taken long enough. So you kind of want to tell that a sling shouldn't fire before the wind up animation is complete, right? And this is how like they do it. Like they just like wait in here. Like in here, they do not wait. But you can use this seconds used parameter here to kind of like decide if this interaction has taken long enough or not. And if it has, then this onHeld interact stop is called. So there's like this 3-part road story told. And then we have some animation code. Did you have a question?
I was just wondering, is this C# or what language is this?
This is C#.
Okay. I've never worked with C before, so I'm just yeah, no worries. Go on.
I'll try to explain the best I can because I realize maybe a lot of you
It's
don't
okay,
have
it's
like experience with reading code or like this code. And we can see it tries to set up some animation code here, and then what does it try to do? it finds the next ammo, figures out the damage from the attributes of the collectible, and what? Oh, sling damage plus stone damage is what is calculated here. And then you get the ranged weapons damage. So like some classes have some bonus damage and some have some negatives. So it's like calculated here. And then what happens here? By player. Oh yeah. And this is where the throwing begins. So we have like, so how throwing works in this game is like kinda you spawn a new projectile at the position of the sling, and then it has a direction, and it carries all of the things like damage and other stuff with it. And when it hits something, then it will kinda calculate how much damage it, or not damage, but like who it was from and other stuff, right? And then we spawn a thrown entity, damage item, start animation, and stop animation after 400 milliseconds.
So is it the spawn thrown entity we want to duplicate?
Yes, we could do that. But the problem is that we do not know these variables that are referenced inside here.
Mm.
Because as you can see, it creates an entity here, but we would have to kind of do the same thing in our... Wait, can we? I think we can actually. Yeah, let's try to do that for the duplication, because like
or maybe you can just like loop that through 2 times. I don't know.
Yep, but I feel like it's easiest to just like copy it for now and then just to like have a proof of concept. By the way, someone asked about changing the damage of the stones. Was it you?
Yeah, I just said you could give different kinds of stones different damage values if you needed a different example.
Yeah, and actually this is actually possible in the base game already. Like I think every like rock has its own like defined damage or something.
Oh wow.
So that's pretty easily doable.
The code appeared to be reading that from the item attributes for the individual stones.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so really
yeah.
that kind of change would be sort of like the change when you were doing the bandage stack.
Yes, a content mod.
Yeah.
Or like a JSON patch then.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go with this then. Wait. Let's go with this. So how creating a new code mode works is magic. There's this custom template that the Winter Story developers have provided. It's listed somewhere in the wait, where was it? It's listed somewhere in the modding page, I think. Code mods. Template. Yep. And you kind of, once you're making code mods, you should install this template first. And this will generate you a nice looking like project to boot already every time without worrying. And what we're gonna do here is set up one. Sorry? Did you have a question?
Nah, my bad. Just unmuted by accident.
Oh, all right. So we will create a new mod, which is gonna be called like sling double, for example. And this what this template does is kind of set up a new like C# project for you with the mod build tools also included. So like you will have like a separate project that you can use to build this mod into a zip, which you can then distribute without having to like set it up yourself. Like it's really nice. It will also set up a mod system for you and the modinfo.json and the assets folder with a like empty language, just some like demo code kind of. And what we have here is the base of all the code mods. So every code mod must have a mod system at its core, or multiple actually. It can have multiple, but it needs to have at least one. So when your mod gets loaded, then this file will be run first, and from this file, everything else will like, follow kinda. You will set up your mod how you like it, and then it will just run. And there are various like functions you can hook into. So a mod runs both on the client and server side usually. You can have client side only mods, in which case like you would ignore these two. Like just fill in this and like do other stuff. And you can have like server only mods. Server only mods are like usually when you want to edit some behavior, but there are no new items or anything to distribute to the players. So for example, this heal other mod I just made yesterday is both server side and client side. Server side, it modifies the player to be able to kind of heal other players, but on the client side, there's this interaction help. So if you mouse over the player, you will see this healing help like hotkeys, or interaction help as they call it in this game. So in my case, I have to fill out both of these. And start is just if you like have something that is shared, so you don't want to kind of duplicate the functionality. In our case though, we are making what we are making. We are making what was it? Double boulder, double stone, spawning entities is usually done on the server side, because clients cannot be trusted with such actions, so they do it on the server side. So I'm guessing this would also have to be on the server side, this mod we're making. And we will go and make a new class, which is gonna be called like double stone behavior. Fuck, I can't write anymore. Behavior. Double stone behavior will be a collectible behavior, because this behavior will start applying to the sling item itself. So we need to kind of add a new behavior to the sling. And I hope that here we have this, we can overwrite this on held interact stop. Wow. Yeah, we have it. Which means we can go back to this thing we copied before. And then put it into here. And then we have a ton of like errors and stuff. And we will just kind of fix the imports. Wait, what is this? It's not a collectible. It seems we cannot do it like this, but we will try to still make it work. You see like this collectible behavior and the collectible itself, they like differ a bit in like how they do things. But yeah, I think we can make it work. We also need to steal this get next munition function. We could use some other like things as well for it, but you know, this is the easiest for now. So we need to find an API now. So we can buy entity.api. Can I just turn on the formatting when I save? So what we just did is copy that functionality, paste it in here, and then make it like fit the collectible behavior definition. And I hope when we run it, it will work nicely. I've kind of like ran over a lot of coding concepts here, like about the mod setup. So if you have any questions about why something is written like this, then please let me know. I'll try to explain it. Okay, now we have the behavior. What you need to do to use a behavior is you need to register it. So in this case, in the start method, because behavior should be available on both clients and server side, we should register it. So it's a register collectible behavior class, and it's gonna be called double stone behavior. And then we will provide kind of the class it will instantiate once the game starts, once the start method is called. And what we're kind of trying to do right now is, if you look at the sling, then wait, sling doesn't have anything. Let's find this seraph. So wait, this is not the correct one. All right, let's maybe find something like a pickaxe. So a pickaxe has a behavior, and it's an array of behaviors, and one of them is named ground storable. And what we kind of now need to do, like imagine this is like a sling. We need to like add another one here, and then we need to like name it how we named it, like double stone, which would make the game on launch detect this, that there's like a new behavior that needs to be like ran when this item is like created. Not created, but like always, like it belongs to this item now. And yep, by registering it, the game can now look up that if such a behavior named like this is used, then just like create an instance of this behavior. And how we will add this there is we will use our good friend ModMaker 3000 to create a JSON patch, and then we can like extract that patch. So we have a sling. Sling, yes. Sling doesn't have any behaviors yet, so we need to have it, add it. So yes, this name, the name is double stone. Was it double stone, right?
It was double stone behavior. Do you just not include the behavior?
Oh yeah, behavior, yeah. Sorry. Whatever is written here should be written there. But the naming convention is like that you do not usually include this double stone like behavior in as a suffix. But you can do whatever you want. Like it's your mods and do however we feels natural to you. So now we have added a behaviors array which has one behavior in it, double stone behavior. If we run it right now, the game would probably tell us that I do not know what's this double stone behavior you're talking about, because this mod will run after the game mod has loaded everything. So what we need to do is kind of make this patch a part of the double stone mod we are creating. So we're gonna use the mod maker again to extract, ignore the shapes. Then we will have name, double sling, doesn't actually matter because we are only interested, wait, restore, yes. We are actually only interested in the patch it produced. We do not care about the, we do not care about the actual mod it created. We just want the patch. Because like writing these patches manually is like gruesome work. Like you can do it. I've done it for the longest time, but if I have some base game stuff, I will usually use the mod maker to like extract the change I need. And here you can see like it's nicely done. And I hope when we now start this mod, then it will automatically work and we can go home. All right, so what I did now is like kind of this template provides some launch settings which provide like different profiles you can run the game with automatically. And it opened up the game itself, main menu. But there is actually a better way of doing this, which I usually use like in some other projects, I have defined this new launch settings, kind of like change them. And I've kind of said that open Winter Story up, but please open up this test world automatically. So every time I open this mod now or like play this mod, it will open up the word name test world. So I save another step of like tedious process. Never mind this. Sling. Oh yeah, we had to mod the my sling, not the regular sling, sorry. But let's try out the regular sling if that works. Stone. Is that 2 stones or 1 stone? No, it's 1 stone.
Well, the one we did have 2 of them in exactly the same place.
What do you mean? The one we did?
As in that they, even if there were 2, they'd be launched with exactly the same.
Like the trajectories are the same, you mean?
Yeah, so if there were 2, it's possible they're just stacked exactly on top of one another.
I do see only 1 being thrown from your hotbar though.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
That's because we never edited it's a separate part that reduces the number in your inventory, if that makes sense. So even if it was working,
you might be right.
We'd only be losing 1, but still throwing 2.
Is it possible to pick up the stones once they've been thrown on the ground, like just vanilla?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, it looks like it's only thrown 1.
Yeah, and actually, like, there's a piece of code in here that tells that arrow slot take out 1 So arrow slot is probably like the next munition, right? With whichever slot is it in, and then takeout says that like take out one for the purpose of this logic, and like it's already been removed. And then every time you modify a slot, you have to call mark dirty to like tell the clients that the slot has been updated, which we actually do here. And now it's like kind of time to figure out why this doesn't work.
Is that for another time?
Is it?
I don't know. I'm only asking so that the recording doesn't get too long.
Yeah. I kind of want to start ending soon, but I kind of want to give it a quick try of debugging.
Okay, sure.
Did we ever actually copy a second spawn thrown entity? Cool.
Well, I mean, yes and no. What my logic was that the sling item itself has a logic to throw a stone, and by adding another behavior to throw a stone, then we could throw 2 stones. And if we would have like add this behavior twice, we would throw like 3 stones. You know, like every behavior gives 1 stone thrown. Is my logic, but I kind of want to know if this is called even. So what I will do is go into the debugger to figure out what's happening here. So here we are in our 2 stones world. And wait, is this called? No, it's not called. Which means that our behavior is not being executed correctly. I'm thinking there could be some code in the starting to throw animation that checks if it was just thrown, and then maybe it would like it will ignore the new throw. Yeah, it's hard to like say why this happens right now. But yeah, let's fix it with the new next concept I have to talk about, because that makes it a bit easier. So harmony patching. If you don't know, then harmony is like a library or like a framework to kind of monkey patch code. And what monkey patching is like you update code while it's running. And why this is done is usually like some games do not provide an easy way to make mods for it. So monkey patching is the only way to like insert your own logic. For example, if you know the game Lethal Company, then a lot of mods in that game are like monkey patched because the modding support is like pretty bad. And the harmony mods are like the best gift ever, and they are the worst gift ever. They are the best gift because they allow you to like be God. You can do whatever you want. Like the game developer says, like you cannot do it, and then you just do it. Like this is how powerful they are. But at the same time, when a new version of the game comes out, like everything could break because like they've updated the methods. And yeah, I use this harmony patching in most of my mods. Like almost all of my mods are using this thing because the mods I want to make are not possible using regular means. So I must resort to this kind of advanced method of patching. And kind of if you like go to this documentation page, like it lists like what is this framework even, like prefix mods, postfix patches, you know, like it's not a big framework, but it's pretty useful when you like realized how to like use them. And actually, if I think about it now, then it's not easily possible to make this fix. I was talking about this earlier. I was thinking that since Harmony has like a postfix, so you can attach your own code to like methods that run, then we could just like attach our own custom method to this same method and tell like, all right, if you're called, then please throw another rock after it was thrown, right? But it's not possible because this method we copied refers to a lot of different variables, and figuring all of this out like would take some time. We could make it work, but it would take some time. But so I don't kind of want to waste any more time. I've been talking about 2 hours and my brain is like getting fried slowly. And lastly, another one bites the dust.
Real ones stay
Yeah.
until the end.
Thank you.
Carry on though.
So lastly, we have the program dnSpy. Do not ask what dn means. I will not tell you. And dnSpy is a nice program for, you probably read it that when you want to look into the code of other mods, but they do not provide the code themselves, then this is the program to use. And I will make a small demo of it so you could just like understand like what are its capabilities. So for example, one of the mods I have been looking into for my envelopes is the coinage mod. They render like this cool looking like shape on the coin, which I kind of also want to start rendering on my like envelopes, you know, the stamps. So this is a good place to steal code from. And how you use this program is you just like, you have a DLL from somewhere, anywhere, you drop it in and it gets loaded. I'm sorry if it's like small in size. I don't know how to make it larger. And then you can kind of like look through all of the mod code, like what the author has written. It's decompiled code, so it looks pretty shit at times because like, you know, the decompilation cannot be as perfect as compilation. So yep, it's bad. And a big bonus of this program is you can read and you can also write. So let me see. So this is like game code. Like I have gone to the game folder, pulled in like one DLL. I think it's like Winter Story API or something. Winter Story server, leap. Yep. And actually, there was like server breaking bug at one point. The server was randomly generating chunks that were corrupted, leading to a crash when anyone went near them. And what I did is I actually edited this method in place. Like you can write your own code. and then I recompiled this DLL and sent it to the owners like Seochin, and he put it on the server, and the issue was fixed. So this program can be used to like make some like surgical precision fixes to whatever code you can find on the internet. It is not only like Winter Story this is useful, but like for any mod that's written in C#. So it's superior. Like knowing how to use this mod is like, it is so great. Any questions about this?
I don't understand it well enough to ask questions, unfortunately.
Do you want to ask the stupid questions maybe?
I have a question, but it's not about what we're at right now. It's about texturing.
I mean, we're gonna finish this talk soon, and then you can all ask at the end.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, and dnSpy is actually how I began my modding journey. I didn't know how to write mods for shit. Like I think like my first mod was this map exporter, like which is not even a Winter Story mod. It's just like takes the map file you have and then renders it to a nice PNG, like the big stitch, you know. And for my server, I needed to start writing some changes, fixing some exploits in Xskills and other stuff. So when I realized that this dnSpy program can be used to insert your own code, then, like the world opened up to me. Like I know how to read code. I know how to like kind of reason about programs and like figure out if there are some bugs. So I could like make some changes while not knowing anything about modding. And this is like how I got introduced to this modding in general, I guess, because I have not really modded any games before. And for the end, I have some more tips. There's this modding efficiently article, which contains a lot of things I talked about already, and how to debug and like how to write mods and stuff. Like read through this. Like you're gonna waste too much time if you're gonna like go into it with some inefficient methods of like writing mods. Like the faster you can iterate on something, the faster you can get something ready, and like all of these things like help you iterate faster. And next one is the start small. And with Winter Story mods, I feel like if you try to grab too much or like bite too much, you're gonna like drown. And I still feel like I make like really simple mods. Like I still haven't graduated onto like more difficult mods, I could say.
We're working on a big one.
Well, yeah, that is gonna be maybe a bigger one, but still not like huge. But I'm getting there, like I feel the progress and I enjoy like doing this. Like I enjoy like sitting down and making cool stuff for people to enjoy. And there's also this launch settings that Jason changed that I told you about before to automatically launch a word, which also speeds up your iteration time. And this is the last slide. Questions?
Nothing I haven't already asked. Thank you so much for hosting. It was super informative.
Wait, what about the texturing question?
Well, I thought you wanted to save that one for after.
Oh, sure.
I just wanted to ask like how you, for example, with your little miceling, how you would like unwrap that and texture it if you were gonna like do it in whatever editing program you want, paint.net, whatever you want.
What do you mean by unwrap? You mean like have it all next to laid bare You know, like laid flat.
Yeah, for example, yeah.
Uh,
A cool thing with VSMC that you can actually take any PNG. It doesn't need to be like there doesn't need to be any order in how you unwrap it or how it's like unwrapped in like other games. Like how you have, for example, a skin in Minecraft, and then it has
That's
to
my
be
only
in the
frame of
specific.
reference.
Yeah, then it has to be the specific like values, like, or else it will not look right, right? But in VSMC, you just kind of have a way where you can drag and drop. Like there's a it says what you selected on this side of the texture, and then you can just select that part of the image in a selection, and then it uses that as a texture. So you
But
can
if
have
you're
any picture, and then you can use that as a texture. In
but
theory.
if you're like making your own texture from scratch, like I'm saying, for example, like if I'm gonna make clothing mods, because that's primarily what I'm gonna be wanting to do.
Of course.
That's gonna have to be done pixel by pixel.
Yeah, and if like any way that you want to draw it would be in theory the right way to be able to make the image, because you can drag and drop and choose how you want it to look onto the model yourself.
I think you just gotta fiddle around with it, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, it's like if you need to have the two sides or the sides that have to line up to each other right next to each other, so it's easier to line it up in the thing. But you can always choose which side of the image, and it's a bit hard to explain without having you to show the VSMC.
I know what it
It's
looks
quite
like, what you're
easy.
talking
It's quite
about. I just
easy
haven't.
to.
Yeah.
yeah, you mean the UV editor?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the UV editor is way more simpler than in other programs.
That's
which
one good
is-
thing about it, I guess.
But it's still the like, where do you get the source material? And for that, I don't have an answer for you. Maybe if you
Alright, that's
modeled
fine.
the same thing in the Blender and used the Blender's like things to get the texture out, maybe that would work.
Maybe.
But that would like be double work, kind of like, I don't know. It feels like there should be
I
an
mean,
easier way.
You might also be able to like export the model from the Vintage Story model creator and import it into Blender and then unwrap it.
Export Winter Story model creator.
It is possible to import into Blender, but it's also a piece of work.
All right, let's not worry about that. That is not within our
I
point of
worked so much
conversation.
with Blender that I wanted to actually have that script work, and I hate trying to get it to work. It's so bad.